Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's recap of The Amazing Race.
Well, we gotta start by giving a shout out to cjking 13!
Alright, last week no one was sent home because it was not elimination, but Christie and Jodi came in last place, so now they have to perform a speed bump that no one else has to do.
Otherwise, they're out.
Yeah.
So, we're in Novosibirsk, Siberia, and we're traveling to India via Moscow.
I thought they were in, like, Russia.
It's Siberia, Russia. So, they're going to Jaipur, India, the pink city.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be taking a taxi once there to Sacred Tree, how do you say?
So all the teams were on the same flight, and this flight was from Kaka Airlines.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying that wrong.
I hope so too.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it.
Well, they had some taxi problems once they got there too. The taxi drivers were, how do you say, unreliable. In fact, Mike and Mel's taxi driver took off and left their luggage locked in the trunk. And they couldn't pop it open.
Yeah.
So they fell into last place, but they didn't stay there for long, let's just say. Monkeys, cows, camels. There was elephants running around loose. There was like
Dogs.
mounds of dirt on the side of the street.
There was like kids starting fires in the street.
Yeah.
And, like, eating stuff.
It was overwhelming, to say the least. If you didn't feel for these people, you're not human. And let me just say, some of the teams are not human. Some of the more human teams were Jamie and Cara and Luke and Margie. They really were moved by what they were seeing. But some of the shorter teams were like, yeah, we're on the bad side of town, or this must be the good side of town.
They were annoying. Alright,
Yeah.
So once they got to the sacred tree, there was these like wise men there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing,
Telephones.
but there were telephones there,
They're
and
sitting under the tree, soaking in the sacredness.
it said on the telephone, call one of these numbers for your clue.
Yeah, there was like 4 numbers there, so.
But a lot of the teams were passing up the phones. And then they were like, oh, okay, what's this?
Yeah. Would you expect to find a red phone under a tree in the middle of nowhere?
No.
Where would you plug it in?
So the clue told them to travel to Amber Fort. Yeah, Fort.
Yeah. Guava Pavati parking.
But, like, no one could understand what they were saying.
Yeah, because I think one of the numbers it was saying it like in Indian, one of the numbers it was saying it like in American, and I don't know.
American? That's not a language.
English. Oh my god, I'm such an ugly American.
Okay. So, once
I'm
they
sorry.
got their clue, they had to do a roadblock for
Right.
one.
One member has to care for a camel. So you got to bring food and water to a bunch of camels, but you got to use traditional like methods of doing it. So
It was a pail and a basket.
and a basket. You know?
They still use those today.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, I don't feed too many camels though, you know.
Whatever. Victor was slopping around the food to try and make it look like...
He's so excitable.
I know, that too. But, like...
What's wrong with him?
He was, like, dumping it in his face.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. Jamie and Cara, hello, the bucket is for the water and the basket is for the food, not vice versa.
And, of course, they were like, do you speak English? Why don't you speak English?
Why are we so messed up as Americans that we have to assume that everybody in the world speaks English, and if they don't, they're like losers?
She says that in every single country.
I know. Mel, I feel bad for you. You're old. You're like
Why was
68.
he doing this task?
I guess they didn't realize what it was exactly
guess.
until after they picked, and then like once you pick, it's like point of no return.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny. I don't usually laugh when people wipe out, but when Tammy wiped out just walking, I kind of thought it was pretty funny. So, yeah, the second group, well, the group after Tammy and Victor, because they had a pretty good lead, they couldn't figure out that the basket was for the food.
Yeah.
And, like, the Kisha and Jen team were, like, stuffing it. Well, I can't tell who's who
Me neither.
quickly. So one of them was stuffing it in their shirt, and the other one was, I think Margie was doing the same thing. Some of them were shoving it in the water buckets, and come on, people.
So Mel was kind of far behind
Yeah.
with the water, but then he realized that they should use the basket for the food. So he caught up really quickly, and he ended up being the second one to finish.
Right, but then when everybody else saw what he was doing, they were like, oh, yeah. So the next part is a detour. Movers or shakers.
So for movers, you had to load up this bicycle with
cart.
barrels that had hay in them, and you had to transport them through the streets of Jaipur, 1.5 miles, and find. When you got to the destination, you had to look through the barrels and find this tiny metal elephant.
This big, and those barrels were huge.
Yeah,
and there was a ton of hay in them. It was crazy. So the shakers was you got to go to this busy intersection, dress up in this kooky dress with a camel attached to it, get made up, which the makeup was very garish, and dance around and try and earn 100 rupees.
It sounds like a good time.
It sounds fun, even if it's not on the race. But
so everyone chose shakers except for
you know who
and Michael.
The wet blankets. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't want to do that. I thought everybody would have thought it was very exciting to see them dance around, but they didn't want to do it, I guess. So in the meantime, it was speed bump time for Christie and Jodi. So they went and they found out that they had to go over to a temple and decorate an elephant for a festival. It was kind of nice to spend some time with them, and Jodi was talking about her daughter, and it was nice to hear about that. And the other one wanted to start a family, so she wanted to do the race, so they decorated an elephant and they caught up. Yeah, so then they went and they also chose the shakers.
So, the shakers, Margie had lipstick all over her teeth.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
Bad.
There's just something inherently funny about somebody who's got a ton of lipstick on their teeth and they don't know it. It's like they have a missing tooth. Then, Jamie and Cara, when they were finished, they thought their taxi driver took off with their backpacks.
So they were like, what is he, sightseeing?
They stole our bags! What are we going to do now? And then he was like,
yeah.
Thank you. Alright, so the pit stop is Jaigarh Fort. I don't know how to say it, I'm sorry.
There's a total monkey party at the fort.
And you can't beat the guy playing the nose flutes. I think Phil was totally entertained. Yeah, baby.
Alright, so the first team to arrive, Tammy and Victor.
They won ocean kayaks. Good luck with those. And team number 2, Mel and Mike. Yeah.
Team number 3, Kisha and Jen.
Team number 4, Margie and Luke.
Number 5, Jamie and Cara.
And number 6...
It was really close, too.
It was pretty close. Mark and Michael. Followed by team number 7, the last team to arrive, Christie and Jodi, who were unfortunately eliminated.
Yep. So next week, teams are going to go wild in Thailand.
I'm telling you, that looked pretty scary. There was elephants tapping on their butts, and they would look like they had to be in some kind of animal show or something.
It was cool though.
It looked pretty dangerous. I don't know if I would like an elephant's giant foot on my rear end.
And Margie passes out from
This
the
has
heat.
got to be so scary for Luke because he cannot communicate without her. She is his only means of communication on the race.
Pretty much.
So, until scary times next week, much love.